Last week, I took the heat for an English lesson with hot idioms. But trust me when I say that when the heat is on, I'm ready for it. I may even catch heat for this lesson. Who knows?
Welcome to another Happy English podcast coming to you from New York City. And here's your English teacher, Michael.
All right, thank you, John, and thanks, everyone. It's Michael here from Happy English, and I help people speak English better. This is Happy English Podcast, episode 730, Heat Idioms. You know, it was close to the 40-degree mark this past week in New York, and all of that heat inspired me to help you with these heat idioms. There are 8 of them altogether, so let's dive in. Heat up means to become warmer or to increase in temperature. I'm going to heat up some leftovers for dinner. The coffee will heat up quickly in the microwave. Let's heat up the soup before serving it. When there's a heat wave, there are several consecutive days of unusually hot weather. We're experiencing a heat wave this week with temperatures around 40 degrees. You know, during a heat wave, it's important to stay hydrated. And heat waves can be dangerous for elderly people and those with health conditions. By the way, in the wintertime, several consecutive days of unusually cold weather is called a cold snap. When you try to beat the heat, you try to find ways to stay cool or comfortable during hot weather. During the summer, people often go to the beach to beat the heat. We bought an air conditioner to beat the heat in our apartment. You know, I like to eat ice cream to beat the heat on a hot day. The rest of these heat idioms have less to do with hot weather and more to do with tough situations. When someone catches heat, they receive criticism or punishment for something that they did. Jack caught heat from his boss for missing the project deadline. If you don't finish your homework, you'll catch heat from your teacher. The company caught heat from customers for suddenly raising prices. When someone feels the heat, they feel pressure or stress because of a challenging situation. When the final exam dates were announced, the students started to feel the heat. Politicians often feel the heat during election season. The sales team felt the heat from management when they fell short of their sales targets. We also use the phrase, take the heat, which means to accept criticism or punishment or to handle pressure or blame. The goalkeeper took the heat for his team's loss in the championship game. The CEO took the heat for the company's financial losses and was eventually replaced. Jack decided to quit his high-stress job on Wall Street because, as the old saying goes, if you can't take the heat, get out of the kitchen. By the way, we also use heat up to say that a situation between people, sports teams, and so on intensifies. During the election season, the debate between both candidates started to heat up. As the baseball season gets closer to the World Series, the competition will start to heat up. The conversation in the office heated up when the boss talked about using robots instead of hiring new employees. And finally, when someone says that the heat is on, it means that there is pressure or urgency in a situation. In other words, the situation is becoming intense or critical. With the deadline approaching, the heat is on to finish the project. The heat was on because the score was tied during the second half of the soccer game. According to a government spokesperson, the heat is on to find a solution to the budget crisis. Keep in mind, the best way to remember this and any other word or phrase in English is to take that word or phrase, write it in a sentence that's true for you or true in your world, and then memorize your sentences. By the way, can you imagine getting the chance to practice this kind of English with me directly? You can get more practice using your English when you join my Podcast Learners Study Group. There, you can make new friends. Join us for live group lessons every week where we practice these podcast lessons together. Plus, you get access to the PDF transcript and audio download for every Happy English podcast in the past and in the future. And on top of that, each episode has exercises where you can practice this English point with speaking and writing checked by me. To learn more, just visit myhappyenglish.com and choose podcast lesson 729. Remember, learning another language is not easy, but it's not impossible, and I'm here to help you on your journey.
This podcast is brought to you by Happy English. Please visit myhappyenglish.com. Show your support for Happy English by leaving us a review. Get English, get happy, Happy English.